Hare
जय
Krishna.
राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन व्रज जन रंजन यशोदानंदन व्रज जन रंजन यमुना तीर वनचारी यमुना तीर वनचारी जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे जय राधा श्याम सुंदर राधा श्याम सुंदर राधे जय कृष्ण बलराम कृष्ण बलराम जय कृष्ण बलराम जय गौरानिताय गौरनिताय जय गौरानिताय जय जय प्रभुपाद जय श्रील प्रभुपाद हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय श्रीमद् भगवद गीता की जय श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपकदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुन् वैष्णवां च श्रीरूपं सागरजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितां तं सजीवम् साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्त वृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा others have not been able to join you
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Prabhu.
हरे कृष्णा so क्या करें I wanted all of you to be there today ठीक है I think we will start Jit Prabhu did you think about what are the drawbacks of punya
Prabhu, yeah, I did think just that what I felt is that we will be stuck in this world if we, I mean, I mean, this is what I feel. I mean, if we'll be stuck here for, I mean, without any, moving, let's say, going back to Godhead. We just stuck here with the punya, whatever you earn, we keep getting, okay, have a better life, maybe we'll do good, maybe we'll do bad. Just, the circle of life will continue.
Okay, what is the reason for continuing the circular life?
Um, what is the reason for continuing circular life is, um, okay. Okay.
Let's
I
apply
will
the
tell
reverse
Prabhu.
logic. Na? Yes, please, Prabhu. Yes.
Prabhu, it's like karma. We do karmas, punya karma. For
हाँ,
example, हमने donation दिया, right?
हाँ,
किसी को स्कूल बनाने के लिए या किसी को help किया, right? So that because of that good karmas, we will get heavenly planets, punya phal. So we'll
okay.
go to some planet, and then once that uh, fruits of that karma is finished, then we will come back again, take birth here,
हाँ,
Nityaloka or other planets. तो वो साइकिल चलता रहेगा जब तक ये पुण्य कर्मा का हमारा अकाउंट भरता रहेगा.
correct, correct,
That is what I think, Prabhu.
correct. That's right. That's right. So basically, if we apply the reverse logic, when you do pap, what happens? When you do pap, you are sent to a planet or a place where you can suffer for your activities. Correct?
Narkaloka basically, right? So
Yeah, meaning
lower
it could,
planets,
it,
no?
it could be anything. Even when you do pap also, you may take birth on earth also, because that pap
Yeah.
could be such that you will have to suffer on earth. Yeah, sometimes we get bad bosses. Sometimes a person does not have any money at all. Sometimes a person has too many enemies. Sometimes a person may have, some bad events that's happening in his life. It could be, some natural calamity, diseases, could be anything. So anything that can give some kind of trouble, physical or mental, and you can suffer that on any planet. And wherever your quantity of pap is equivalent to the quantity of punishment, you will be sent over there. So Srimad Bhagavatam in the 5th canto, 28th chapter describes the different types of hells that are present in the hellish planetary system. So what kind of punishment is given when what kind of sin is performed, and in and how the punishment is given to us. So we all know, right? See, it's a simple thing to, it's very logical. अभी तक हम लोग ने सेकंड चैप्टर में क्या पढ़ा है? That the soul cannot be destroyed. The soul cannot be given any kind of it's a changeless soul, immutable, right? So it cannot be burned, cannot be dried, cannot be troubled in any form. So जब when we leave this body, so फिर the what remains is the soul only, right? And the subtle body. तो अगर सोल को कुछ कर नहीं सकता है तो पनिशमेंट किसको मिलती है फिर? इट्स लॉजिकल, राइट? इतना हम लोग सेकंड चैप्टर में पढ़े हुए हैं, राइट? कि सोल को कुछ नहीं हो सकता है, तो फिर बॉडी छोड़ने के बाद जो बचता है वो सिर्फ सोल ही बचता है. तो फिर सोल को कैसे पनिशमेंट कोई दे सकता है? तो फॉर दैट यू आर गिवन अ बॉडी which is suitable for the respective planetary system. And वहां पे उस बॉडी को all the different type of hardships are given. The punishments are given to that body. जब वहां पे punishment का कोटा खत्म हो जाता है, then the body is given up and the soul is released back to the respective planet. So it may come to earth again. And earth में आने के बाद then he will get a body which is suitable to the earth planet. तो जैसे this is applicable for pap, similarly it is applicable for punya also. It's that the only difference is there you are suffering and here you will get a so-called enjoyment. वहां पे आप hellish planets में हो, यहाँ पे आप heavenly planets में रहोगे. That's all. But the cycle of birth and death and birth and death will continue. And this is the drawback of punya.
Prabhu, one doubt.
Huh.
Now,
Can I know, sorry, GK, somebody has joined. May I know who are you?
Garima Mate?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, it's Garima. Sorry.
हाँ ओके माता जी ओके GK लिखा था मैं आई वाज जस्ट वंडरिंग आपका GS होना चाहिए था बट एनीवे
GS बोले तो
आप आपका सरनेम श्रीवास्तव है ना इफ आई एम नॉट रॉन्ग
नहीं मैं कुमार हूँ
ओ ओके सॉरी हाँ तो GK ओके फाइन
हाँ जी
गुड टू सी यू बैक वी थॉट
थैंक यू
वी थॉट यू विल नॉट नहीं आपको ज्वाइन करने में थोड़ी डिफिकल्टी हो रही है ऐसे मुझे लगा एनीवे बट गुड आज आप ज्वाइन किए बिकॉज आज का सेशन इंपॉर्टेंट है थैंक्स फॉर ज्वाइन
थैंक यू नो थैंक्स टू यू थैंक यू
हरे कृष्णा जिजित प्रभु बोलो
Prabhu, yeah, one doubt I wanted to clear was, let's say a person who is into Krishna consciousness and he also does punya. What about him?
Yes. So there are two aspects to this one. So if depending on how much bhakti he has performed, he is given a certain level of material opulences. तो समझो उसने बहुत थोड़ी भक्ति की रहेगी. So then he will go to heavenly planets, enjoy over there. Or he may remain on earth. He will get a good lifestyle, good parents, good kind of basically any factor which gives good material life. But उसने बहुत भक्ति की रहेगी ना उसने. So then if you remember हम लोग ने 6th chapter के certain verses we had read when you had asked one question about a brahmachari in Australia, right? So where we had gone through certain verses of 6th chapter. So then he gets a lifestyle which may give him some material benefits, but more importantly, he will get a birth in a family of devotees, so that his path, the spiritual progress, will continue from where he has left off in the previous life. Aisa. Okay, so let's study these 4 verses today, 41 से लेके 44 तक. Okay, anybody has any question so far? नहीं तो we can start with 41. Okay, चलो. So you can unmute yourself. व्यवसायात्मिका बुद्धि
व्यवसायिका बुद्धि सॉरी
एकेह कुरु नंदन
एकेह कुरु नंदन
बहुशाखाह्यनन्ताश्च
बहुशाही अनंताश्च
बुद्धयो व्यवसायिनां
बुद्धयो व्यवसायिनां.
Anybody reading the translation?
Hare Krishna. Those who are on this path are resolute in purpose and their aim is one. O beloved child of the Gurus, the intelligence of those who are irresolute is many branched.
Okay, so what are the different types of people? Meaning, who is Krishna talking about here? He's talking about 2 types of people. Who are they? One who's resolute, okay, is very determined. Okay, meaning when they decide something, they will do that in any case. And such people who have very high level of intelligence, their purpose is only one single purpose. But those whose intelligence is very low quality, their resolute is very low, meaning the determination is very low. And the reason for that is their purpose is many branched. Okay. Now let's take an example to understand this one. So a person who is very highly materialistic, okay, such a person is called as a person with low intelligence, because he does not understand the value of human life. He thinks that enjoying with the body, obtaining material enjoyment, is the sole aim of this particular body. So if you remember, I had told about some people who think that they follow this YOLO theory, YOLO, you only live once. Yeah. They think that there is nothing before life and nothing after death. So this is the only life, and God has created you to enjoy. So बस ये life को सिर्फ enjoy ही करते रहो. But they cannot answer the question, if the enjoyment is the sole purpose of God's creation of people, then why are sufferings existing in this material world? Yeah? Because if God wanted you to only enjoy and God created this world, then God shouldn't have created sufferings. But they are unable to answer that. So such people whose intelligence is only at the material level, their objective is only enjoyment, and their objective is fulfilled by multiple sources of enjoyment. So some people may think money can give enjoyment. Some people may think liquor can give enjoyment. Some people may think travel can give enjoyment. Some people may think good women, wine, and different kinds of food can give enjoyment. तो किसी को जॉब से सेटिस्फेक्शन मिलती है, they want to do more and more, achieve more and more in this job or business or whatever it is. So what happens is their purpose is spread across multiple branches. So दिन में देखो तो they will want good recognition in the job, good achievement in the job. शाम के टाइम पे they want to enjoy with the family, weekends पे something else, या रात के टाइम पे maybe bodily pleasures could be there or whatever it is. So their determination is or their purpose is spread across multiple sources of enjoyment. Whereas people who are focused only on spiritual progress, their purpose is only the satisfaction of the Lord. So दिन हो या रात हो, okay, and irrespective of any situation, material situation, spiritual situation, their focus is only to satisfy the Lord. So this is the key meaning of this particular verse. Okay. Now, Vyavasayatmika Buddhi is the kind of, what do you say, is the key word here in this particular verse. So Vyavasayatmika Buddhi meaning one-pointed intelligence. One-pointed meaning there is nothing that they want to achieve other than the final goal they have. Okay. And an excellent example of this one is the founder of ISKCON, Srila Prabhupada. So Srila Prabhupada was told by his guru to go and preach to the West. Initially, he was not sure whether he can fulfill his guru's wish or not. So he was a bit reluctant to go there. He was doubtful about his own capability. But then his guru came in his dreams and he instructed him again. Again, he became serious, but still he was unable to do it. And even the second time, again, the guru came in his dreams. And then he decided, no, nothing doing. Now, this is the aim of my life. I will somehow or the other, I will achieve this one. And at the age of 69, imagine at the age of 69, people retire from life from all perspectives. Yeah, forget service, but they retire from even the regular family life also. They give all the control to their children and they just want to relax. At such a point of time, Prabhupada went to US with only 40 rupees, which was equivalent to $5 at that time, in his pocket. And despite being of such a senior age, okay, when he started preaching to Bhagavad Gita, one of the most important um, catalysts of bhakti is prasad. So Prabhupada used to somehow sell his either books or something he used to do, and he used to earn money, and then he used to go to the market, buy vegetables, bring it home, clean it, cut it, cook it, serve it for to people, pick up their plates, wash their plates, and do the deity worship and everything. Imagine a 69, 70 odd year old person serving for 10, 12, 15 people, cooking and serving and then cleaning also. Those people at that time, they did not even know the basic etiquettes also, that we pick up our own plate and then we clean it as well and then we keep it back. They thought that this old man will do it. So that level of service he has done only for one objective, that is to satisfy his guru, fulfill his promise, fulfill his instruction, and to satisfy the Lord. So that is called as one pointed intelligence. He even suffered 2 heart attacks on the 22-day journey from Mumbai to Boston on the ship. Despite that, he continued. Okay, so that is called as one pointed intelligence. And we also took example of people who have material intelligence also. Okay, now what is he saying here? Which type of people? Now let's say we talked about two people, right? Two types of people, one materialistic and one spiritual people. Okay, within materialistic, whom is he talking about? Within materialistic, is he talking about a papi vyakti or a punyavan vyakti? What do you think? Are you able to get this point?
Yes, Prabhu.
So what do you think? Who is this? Who is he talking about?
No, well, in the many branched people, let's say,
Are these
they,
many branched people papi or punyavan vyakti?
I think for both.
Hey, Prabhu.
Okay, he is talking about people who perform punya.
Punya, okay.
Okay, the reason is, okay, he has already neglected the people who are papi. Basically, these points are critical. You should all know that Bhagavad Gita starts from a particular stage. So the instructions are applicable for people who have reached that certain stage, which is the first level stage of instruction. Okay, that first level stage is somebody who is a person who at least does not do pap activity, sinful activity, who may be a punyavan vyakti, who may be a sakam karma yogi, but at least he does not do pap. That is the point Bhagavad Gita starts off. Okay, so here also he is saying about people who, meaning if you remember from verses 31 till 37, what was his main message? That you will be able to enjoy in either on this earth or in heavenly planets, and not just you, even the other warriors also will be able to do if they die or they win. So the enjoyment, that is bodily material enjoyment, was the objective, which was the question of Arjun also. How will I enjoy? Right? Loss of enjoyment. To that, Krishna has answered, and taking that point forward, Krishna is saying that if you remember this verse number 38, Sukha dukhe same krutva labha labho jaya jayo. Do not worry about this one. Do thou fight for the sake of fighting without considering happiness or distress, loss or gain, victory or defeat. And by so doing, you shall never incur sin. So what is he talking about? Do your duty. Okay. Do not worry about the results. Do not expect results. And by so doing, that is karma yoga, you will not incur sin. Because if you consider happiness, distress, loss, gain, victory, defeat, and then decide whether to fight or not to fight, then you will, by neglecting your duty, you will incur sin. Okay. And if you don't incur sin, if you perform your duty but with the objective of obtaining happiness, then you will go to heaven, enjoy there, but you will come back again. So that method, that route is also not a recommended route. Okay. So that's why he is talking about these people who perform their activities with the aim of achieving happiness, material happiness. Okay. Is that clear? Any question?
Prabhu, this is, I don't know the question is right or not. So now let's say in present Kali Yuga, for a person like me, I mean, what is I mean, let's say, we have to work for our living, that is a duty, and then definitely um, gain knowledge to, go closer. I mean, is this the way to do it, or is there a better way to do it?
Prabhu, this question will be answered throughout the rest of the Bhagavad Gita. And that is precisely what Krishna is driving Arjuna towards.
Okay.
Okay, तो अभी क्या हुआ है? Arjun, you can consider this as a ladder. Arjun is at this particular stage. His questions were at this stage. So Krishna has answered him at this particular level. Now Krishna is lifting Arjun to the next level. Okay, तो वो second level का message pass करेगा. Then he will pass on the third level message, then the fourth level message. And whenever he passes a message of a new higher level, he talks about the drawbacks of the previous level and the positives of the next level. So when he is at the third level, he will talk about the drawbacks of the second level, but the positives of the third level. And then vaisa karte karte he will take up. And the pinnacle of this one comes from the 7th chapter, which is Bhakti Yoga. And that Krishna starts talking about because Arjun says ki the method you have told me is not practical. One cannot control the mind, and mind control is required for everything that you have told me so far. Sakam Karma Yog, Nishkam Karma Yog, Dhyan Yog, uh, then Jnana Yog, everything. And that is where Krishna talks about Bhakti Yoga, which is a sure shot method to success as well as is least complicated. So this will get answered, Prabhu.
Thank you, bro.
Okay, so let's move on to verse number 42 and 43. So they are together. You can unmute yourself. Yami mam pushpitam vacham
Yam ima pushpitam vacham
pravadantya vipaschitah
pravadantya pavaschitah
vedavadarataha partha
vedavada partha
nanyad astiti vadinah
nanya stiti vasti
kamatmanah swargapara
kamat manas swargapara
जन्म कर्म फल प्रदाम
janma karma phalata
क्रिया विशेष बहुलाम
kriya vishesha bahulam
भोगैश्वर्य गतिम प्रति.
भोगेश्वर्य गति प्रति.
Translation.
Men of small knowledge are very much attached to the flowery words of the Vedas, which recommend various fruitive activities for elevation to heavenly planets, resultant good birth, power, and so forth. Being desirous of sense gratification and opulent life, they say that there is nothing more than this. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Now you understood what Krishna is driving us towards. So he talked about people who are performing activities, okay, which are within the boundaries of the Vedas. Okay, so it's very important to understand what according to you is a sinful activity. What do you think is a
Killing,
sinful activity?
killing someone, stealing.
I would talk at a principal level. You are giving examples.
Okay.
So
How do you define that a certain activity is sinful or not sinful?
it is based on a reference, and reference are Vedas, Prabhu.
Okay, so what do you mean by reference then?
Reference means, for example, say car, we have a manual how to drive car. So that's the prescriptive what we should do and what is we should not do. So that is the reference I mean to say, right?
नहीं तो फिर if you can elaborate that प्रभु. So Vedas में है मतलब क्या है कि what am I supposed to do?
So Vedas, I think we principally like Vedas define what is activity which are sinful,
Okay,
which are not sinful, right?
okay. So if I have to put it in a little bit different manner, I would say that whatever is mentioned in the Vedas as to be done, if
Yeah.
we do it, or whatever is mentioned as not to be done, and if we don't do it, then that's a good activity. Correct?
Yeah, means
And
yeah,
whatever is mentioned as to be done, but I don't do it, and whatever is mentioned not to be done, and I do that, is a sinful activity.
correct. That's what I
Correct?
think, Prabhu.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Now, uh, let's keep the definition simple at this point of time. I will not go into the details of the difference between good activity and bhakti at this point of time. We will go into it later. So now if we take that as a reference, that so let's say this is a boundary. The Vedas have created a boundary. Any activity performed within the boundary is a recommended or good activity, and any activity which is outside the boundary, which is a sinful activity. Okay. So what do these people do? The people whom Krishna is referring to, the people who want to enjoy materially. These people are not inclined towards committing sinful activities. So let's say I want to enjoy and for that I need money. तो मनी मैं एक काम कर सकता हूँ, किसी बाजू वाले के घर पे जाके चोरी भी कर सकता हूँ मैं, एंड वहां से पैसा मिलेगा तो वहां से भी आई कैन एंजॉय. But that's not what is recommended, right? It is definitely one should refrain from doing it. So that means enjoyment should be also within a certain framework. If that framework allows you to perform certain activities and then enjoy the results out of it, then that's a right activity to do. But if the framework disallows you to perform certain activity, even if you may get some enjoyment out of it, that's still a sinful activity. So what do these people do who are so interested in obtaining material enjoyment? They do not want to perform sinful activities. So that's why they remain within the boundaries of Vedas. Okay. So जो वेदा ने बोला है मत करो, they will not do it. Even if they get enjoyment, they will still not do it. So they will remain within the boundaries of Vedas, but they will perform that activity with the expectation of results, and the result should be enjoyable. So let's say if they have option of performing two yajna, one yajna may take 1 year to execute, another yajna may take 6 months to execute. तो अगर 6 months वाला भी heavenly planets उनको दे रहा है और 1 year वाला भी दे रहा है, तो then they will perform a 6 monthly yajna. Why? Because कम efforts में ज्यादा enjoyment मिलेगा और equal enjoyment मिलेगा. Now these people are known as men of small knowledge. Kamat manah. Okay, meaning their mentality has been completely influenced by vasana, material enjoyment. And that's why Krishna calls such people as avipaschitah. Avipaschitah meaning less intelligent people. Okay. So now what is he saying? These people, they're because their knowledge has been influenced by material desires, they cannot think beyond material enjoyment. What do these people then do? They get attracted by the flowery words of Vedas, Pushpitam Vacham. So what does it mean? Flowery words of Vedas. We will go into the reason why flower has been given as an example. But let's say you have a friend. That friend describes a certain theme park or a certain movie or a certain food in a restaurant. Okay, and he describes it so well that automatically you will want to enjoy that. So then constantly you will feel, अरे ये तो मेरे को चाहिए. This enjoyment, if I wouldn't get, I will become very unhappy. And then you will perform activities by which you will be able to obtain that, and then you will basically try to enjoy that. So let's say somebody uh, explains you the beauty of a car which is costing, say, let's say 500,000 dirhams. तो अभी उतना पैसा नहीं है अपने पास, but the desire is still there. So what will we do? We will try to work overtime in our company. We will try to switch jobs. We will try to work very hard, obtain promotions, get more and more salary, and somehow पैसा save करते रहेंगे वो कार खरीदने के लिए. And then when we buy the car, then we think we will become happy. Okay. This is how Vedas have been structured. So one of the devotees had studied and he found out that 96% of Vedas contain Sakam Karma Yoga related activities. So they describe the certain heaven or certain pleasure in a certain heaven so beautifully that automatically the desire to enjoy that develops. And when the desire develops, they have also mentioned in the Vedas what kind of sacrifice needs to be done so that that certain benefit can be achieved. It also mentions which demigod to worship, how to worship, when to worship, so that you can get that particular benefit and enjoy. तो ये जब कोई पढ़ता है, so automatically he gets attracted towards that enjoyment. He performs that sacrifice, and he is able to go to heaven and enjoy that. ऐसा होता है. But what is Krishna doing? Krishna is comparing such kind of happiness to flower. Any guesses why flower is compared here?
फ्लावर प्रभु सुंदर होता है, अच्छा लगता है इसलिए.
Correct. फिर
अट्रैक्ट करता है प्रभु फ्लावर.
Correct. But और एक reason है उसमें, which is the main reason why flower is being used here. So कपड़े भी attract करते हैं प्रभु.
फ्लावर खुशबू देता है प्रभु, स्मेल देता है.
Correct. ठीक है. So खुशबू हो या the form related, color related beauty ho, it's basically a way of attracting it, right?
Yeah.
But there is one other important characteristic because of which flower is mentioned here. Any guesses? Garima Mataji, Jujit Prabhu?
No idea, sir.
क्या होता है? फ्लावर झाड़ से निकालते हो आप, and then next day what happens?
मुरझा जाता है.
Dies. It dies.
Okay, flower yeah मुरझा जाता है,
Temporary.
right? And
Temporary
then
sukh that type.
हाँ, correct. So third day में क्या होता है? It becomes brown color, and fourth day में it has dried up completely, and it is another 3-4 days if you keep, then it will start decaying. इतना गंदा हो जाएगा कि आपको कभी वो नजदीक रखने की भी इच्छा नहीं होगी. You will want to throw that. Correct? And this is precisely why flower is used to compare that characteristic of flower to the happiness generated from material beauties. Okay, material sources of enjoyment. तो ये जो happiness होता है, that is available to us for a certain amount of time. The moment that certain amount of time is over, then that happiness is taken away from us. And then what remains is only the dead material. हाँ, तो अभी ये एंगल से देखो, 500,000 का वो गाड़ी लिया हम लोग ने. Okay, we may, let's say we may have fallen short of certain amount of money. इसके लिए बचे हुए पैसे के लिए we took a loan. Okay, and then बाद में गाड़ी 2 साल 3 साल 4 साल हो गया, पुरानी हो गई, उसके ऊपर से जो हमारा पहले जितना प्यार था that has reduced now. तो बाद में क्या होगा? What will remain is the burden of the loan. गाड़ी की ब्यूटी तो we enjoyed it in the first 2-3 years itself. बाद में only the loan will remain. Okay, so this is how the nature of a flower is. So what enjoyment does that Vedic text give you? That 96%. It gives you, okay, it allows you a chance to perform fruitive activities. Fruitive activities meaning an activity which bears a material fruit. And what does it give you? Elevation to heavenly planets. That's one. Resultant good birth. Okay, you might take birth in the family of Tata, Birla, Ambani, Bill Gates, Jeff Bezos, whatever kind of people. Power. You might be born in a family which has huge amount of power, influence ho gaya, or various kind of situation. Now, being desirous of sense gratification. Now comes the second part of it, right? So what do these people think? Okay, kriya vishesha bahulam bhogaishwarya gatim prati. So this has been explained. Kamatmana sargapara janma karma phalapradam. Yeah. So these resultant good birth and all that has been spoken. Na? So kriya vishesha bahulam bhogaishwarya gatim prati. Okay. So various kind of enjoyments are there, and when these are experienced or when these are desired, that kind of person thinks that there is nothing more than this. Bhogaishwarya gatim prati. Bhoga and Aishwarya. Bhoga meaning sense enjoyment. Aishwarya is opulence. Okay. They think gatim is basically a progress, or another meaning of gati is destination also. They think that this is the only objective to be achieved. There is nothing more to life than this enjoyment. So we talked about a certain kind of people who consider material enjoyment as the only objective, but that material objective they achieve via sinful activities. Here Krishna is not talking about such people. Krishna is talking about an even higher level category which consider material object enjoyment as a ultimate objective, but still they are achieving them via a legitimate means. So you can imagine legitimate means के through जो heavenly pleasures obtain करने का try करते हैं, Krishna is disregarding such people also, let alone the sinful activity people. तो sinful activity commit करने वाले लोगों को तो कृष्णा completely disregard कर रहा है, but he is disregarding even the people who are obtaining this enjoyment even via legitimate means. Now, what is wrong in this one? What do you think? अभी ये सब कृष्णा ने बोला, so okay, think because Krishna said it, so we accept it that this is wrong. But what is wrong in it? What do you think?
Prabhu, so the like mentioned, so the good people, the pious people, that's what been considered here. So what about the
Good
non-5?
people, wise people. I didn't understand that.
I know what I mean is the person like the what meant from what mentioned from the previous was that the many branch people itself, the people who do good and then the bad one, but we are that's been considered only for the good people. Correct?
First, so what do you mean by good people?
Now, good people. Sorry, I think I'm using a wrong word. Uh, so, okay, lost it.
Do you mean to say activities, good activities, people
Yeah,
who
good,
perform good
yeah,
activities?
yeah, good activities. Yeah.
Okay.
So, what about the people who do bad activities? They don't get an opportunity.
Okay. So now I'm telling you that Krishna is disregarding such people, which means they will go to hellish planets. They will suffer.
Huh.
So the reason I mentioned the people is you need to understand this one. The sinful activity, people who perform sinful activity are such lowly level people that Krishna is saying कि इनको की तो बात ही मत करो. They are going to suffer continuously for a very long time because of their sinful activities. They may take birth in the animal species. They can go to hellish planets also. कृष्णा बोल रहा है कि इनकी तो छोड़ो. I am talking about even the higher level people are foolish and less intelligent.
Right.
ये नीचे वाले तो less intelligent है ही. In fact, they may not have any intelligence. But Krishna is saying even the higher level people are less intelligent. So why my question is, what is wrong in pursuing those pleasures, those heavenly pleasures? Why is Krishna saying that this is wrong?
So basically, it's temporary.
Correct. तो क्या होगा उससे? चलेगा मेरे को टेम्पररली आप मेरे को 1 नाइट के लिए आप मेरे को फेरारी दे दो या रोल्स रॉयस दे दो चलाने के लिए. आई हैव नो प्रॉब्लम. So what is wrong?
One is not still free from the cycle of birth and death. So you get the pleasures, but again you are in the cycle only.
Correct. तो क्या होता है फिर उससे? Then what happens? You are right. You are on the right track. So what happens because of that? ठीक है ना, मेरे को प्रॉब्लम क्या है?
The soul is not. The soul is. The soul doesn't is not ending in that case, right? I mean, soul doesn't end, but yeah, I mean, mm, okay. The
So
other way,
let's say Mataji, let me ask you a cross question. Let's say there is a fantastic astrologer come intelligent person who approaches you and tells you that because of the activities you have performed, okay, you will go to heaven in the next life. तो वहां पे जाने के बाद you will come down after x number of years and then you should do so and so puja, so and so sacrifice. Then again you will go to enjoy to heaven and enjoy. Again you will come down, take a birth in a very royal aristocratic family, and again you will enjoy in earthly planet also. Again you perform sacrifice, again you go to heaven. तो ये cycle अगर चलते रहेगा तो you are getting enjoyment in both the lives, right? Here as well as in heaven. तो problem क्या है फिर इसमें?
is so the other question to you will be that is not the purpose of the soul, right? The ultimate destiny or the end of the soul. So we haven't achieved that, right,
Exactly.
in this whole cycle of
Exactly.
or gaining whatever.
So the reason why we have been given this body is not to generate material enjoyment, but to finish off our remaining activities towards bhakti and get rid of this cycle of birth and death completely. And that will not be possible if you pursue this path of material enjoyment, even if it is via legitimate means. And that means that you will perform certain activities with the expectation of results. Krishna will give the result, and to enjoy that result, you will need a body. That body can be on the earth or in heavenly planets, but you will get a body. And that body, once it is finished, you will again come back to earth, and again you will start from that point onwards. Again you will perform the sacrifices, again you will go to heaven, and ये चलते ही रहेगा. but you will never be able to come out of the cycle of birth and death. This is the drawback. Is this clear? Any
Yes.
question? Any question?
No, bro.
Deepak Prabhu, clear hai? Garima Mataji, all okay?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So these are like certain concepts which are not so palatable. Okay, because our society has taught to us in a different manner so far. सोसाइटी ने अब तक क्या बोला है अपने को? पुण्य करो, पाप मत करो, लेकिन पुण्य करो बोला है. Isn't it? Right? दान
Right.
करो, then you will get back what you have done, donated. हाँ, किसी की मदद करो, मतलब वो तुम्हारी कभी मदद करेगा. भगवान के सामने हाथ जोड़ो and ask for something. Go to temple, give some bhoga to भगवान, पेड़ा, बर्फी कुछ तो दे दो. So भगवान will also give something to you, right? This is what the society has taught. Now, just compare with what we are learning now in Bhagavad Gita. Krishna सब reject कर रहा है इसको. Had I taught this to you on day one, कि भाई पुण्य मत करो, अगर मैं ऐसा बोलता, तो what you would have done? क्लास बिना छोड़ के चप्पल हाथ में लेके मेरे घर पे आ जाते आप सब लोग मारने के लिए मुझे. Isn't it? So this was not a concept which can be so easily understood, and definitely it is not taught on day one. But Krishna is also speaking almost at after more than half of second chapter is over, so that a certain level of maturity has been reached to understand these concepts. Hare Krishna. Anybody has a thought around this one?
Yeah, I just want to say something that Krishna is not, Krishna is guiding us not to do uh, the good things to get the flowery benefits, okay,
Correct.
the temporary benefits. Does not mean that Krishna is telling us not to help or not to do good. So there is a
Exactly.
change or a shift in the thought process, but not
Perfect.
in the change in the act that we are supposed to do or the society has taught us. But it's a change in the
Fantastic.
thought, right?
Exactly, and very well said. Fantastic. And that is the key aspect actually. I'm not sure whether I have spoken this or not before. The beauty of Bhagavad Gita, which you will appreciate over a period of, until when we learn it completely, is if you take the 18th chapter and look at the instructions, you will find that the same instructions have been given in the second chapter also. Krishna has not changed any part of the instruction. Krishna has changed only one thing, that is our mentality behind our actions. That's all he has changed. That is meaning you understood it very well. Fantastic explanation, fantastic understanding. This is precisely what Krishna has done this. He has not said even once, not even in a single verse of a single chapter, that do not perform your activity. Instead, constantly, with a second chapter, a third chapter, fifth chapter, even fourth, sixth, seventh, everywhere he has said, do your duty. Do not worry about the results. Do your duty. Offer those results to me. Yeah. Do your duty as a service to me. So do your duty has been common. It's just the mentality has been changed. So very well said, Garima Mataji.
Thank you.
Okay, so let's look at verse number 44 quickly. Okay. Uh, is this a heavy topic for you? Or you want to take that 44 verse in the next class?
I'm good to take it further.
Sorry,
I'm good to take it today.
take it today or
Today,
next week?
Yeah,
today,
today.
today.
Okay, ठीक है, चलो let's do it. भोगैश्वर्य प्रसक्तानां
Bhogaisvarya
Taya chetasam vyavasayatmika buddhi
Vyavasayamika buddhi
samadhau na vidhiyate.
samadhamna vidyate.
Okay. So translation, anybody?
Hare Krishna. In the minds of those who are too attached to sense enjoyment and material opulence, and who are bewildered by such things, the resolute determination for devotional service to the Supreme Lord does not take place.
Okay. So let's break this verse. Prasaktana meaning what? Meaning being too attached. Attached to what? Bhoga and Aishwarya. Bhoga is what? Sense enjoyment. We saw in the previous verse. And Aishwarya is opulence, right? So if I have a big house, okay, that is an Aishwarya for me. And when I start enjoying out of that house, like the garden or big walls or big bedroom and big bed and all that stuff, that is the bhoga, because I'm trying to generate enjoyment for my senses out of the small things. I'm having too much of a bank balance, too many gems and diamonds and all that. These are Aishwarya for me. Okay. So when I'm attached with such kind of sense enjoyment or such kind of opulences, what happens? Aptaya aparuta chetasam, meaning taya meaning by such sense enjoyment and by such opulences, aparuta chetasam. Have you heard the word apaharan? Yeah. So apaharan meaning to kidnap. Basically, apaharan meaning take away. Okay? Meaning remove certain thing from its place and put it in some other place. Okay. So the chetasam, that is our consciousness, that is our uh, desire and will towards service to Krishna, that chetana is taken away and it is misplaced into some other area. So meaning what happens? Our chetna should be actually directed towards Krishna, but it gets directed toward sense enjoyment and some kind of opulences. Okay. So this is what happens. So a person who is too attached to these bhoga and aishwarya, he misplaces or displaces basically his consciousness towards such objects. And that means what? The consciousness is not on Krishna. Now, what is the result of such kind of intelligence and such kind of consciousness? Vyavasayatmika buddhi. That Vyavasayatmika buddhi, which was talked about in verse number 41. That Vyavasayatmika buddhi, which is one pointed intelligence, samadho na vidhiyate. Samadho meaning in the mind of such people, that one pointed intelligence never comes. It doesn't occur. It doesn't get generated. Okay. It is never, it never remains over there. So you understand what has happened now. What has Krishna done? He has basically talked about the drawbacks, or basically he has initially talked about the nature of people who run after sense enjoyment. They are less intelligent people. Although they are observing a legitimate means to obtain their enjoyment, they are still less intelligent because they are not valuing the human life properly. Okay. And such people, their actions are such that they try to obtain that pleasure, the enjoyment via legitimate means, because they are attracted by the benefits and they get influenced by such kind of benefits. And when they get attracted, their consciousness is driven away from Krishna towards those material objects. And because of which, that one pointed intelligence towards the service of Krishna, that never takes place. And when that happens, what happens? Then that person gets engrossed in material life altogether. And at a certain point of time, the pious credits that he will have because of performing such sacrifices and all that, they will start getting utilized. And he will not probably supplement that with performing additional sacrifices. So when the pious credits are exhausted and he has not earned new credits also, then he will start getting lower and lower, less and less enjoyment. At a certain point of time, there will be no enjoyment. Why? Because there is no punya available. But the desire to enjoy will still remain there. And what will happen in that case? Then he will resort to illegitimate means to obtain that same enjoyment. You now understood the cycle completely. You have a desire, you go via for a legitimate means, you obtain enjoyment. Okay, then your mind is engrossed in the enjoyment, because of which you may perform more sacrifices and you will obtain more enjoyment. But then your mind is further engrossed and your mind will be driven away from, even forget Krishna, but even from these sacrifices also. Then gradually the sacrifices will reduce, pious credits will also reduce, but the desire to enjoy will not reduce. That desire to enjoy will force you to do certain thing to obtain that same enjoyment before, which was easily available because of the pious credits. Now that the pious credits have gone down, that enjoyment is not easily available. So then you will be forced to perform sinful activity. And then the downgrade, the fall down to from a pious person to a sinful person will happen. And that sinful activities then will result into either you going into hellish planets or you may go into the animal species also. This is the kind of, the cycle. Very important to understand. Then like people who think that I will not do anything bad to anybody. Yeah, but I will do only punya. So they are in at that stage wherein their pious credits are sufficient for them to enjoy that punya, but at a certain point of time, either this life or next life or next to next life or some other life, they will start falling down. So punya is temporarily good, not permanently good. Okay. Now to conclude this one, let me take you to two verses of 9th chapter. Any question, anybody so far?
No.
No?
No, Prabhu.
Okay. So these
I
two
have,
verses.
Prabhu, but I will ask after 9. This verses only. I will ask
हाँ,
after.
ठीक है, ठीक है. So these two verses 20 and 21 are very important, which talk about the destination of a person who goes only after pious activities. Okay, so those who study the Vedas, okay, which was what Krishna also mentioned in verse number 42. Okay, drink the soma juice. Okay, you can ignore this part. Seeking the heavenly planets. Okay, so the objective is to obtain pleasure which is there in heavenly planets. Krishna is saying they worship me indirectly. Keep this particular point. Such people are purified of sinful reactions. अगर कुछ sinful activity की रहेगी तो gradually that gets removed. And then they are able to take birth on pious heavenly planet of Indra where they enjoy godly delights. Yeah, this is simple to understand, which we talked about just now. उसके बाद आगे क्या होता है, that Krishna talks about. When they have thus enjoyed vast heavenly sense pleasure and the results of their pious activities are exhausted. तो अगर आपको कोई कपड़ा लेना है मार्केट से, so what do you do? You take something by giving something. What do you give? You give currency. You may give say 100 dirhams to buy a shirt. तो क्या हो गया, अगर आपके पास 100 dirhams नहीं होगा, तो that person will not give you the shirt. So जितना पैसा है उतना मजा मिलेगा. So जितना पायस एक्टिविटीज किया है उतना हेवनली सेंस प्लेजर मिलेगा. But at a certain point of time, the pious activity will exhaust. And Krishna is talking about that stage. When the result of their pious activities are exhausted, they return to this mortal planet again. Very important, they come down. And वो कैसे come down होता है, I will tell you. Thus, those who seek sense enjoyment by adhering to the principles of the three Vedas, they achieve only repeated birth and death. So now you will be able to appreciate the reason why Krishna is saying कि आप enjoyment के पीछे मत भागो, भक्ति के पीछे भागो. Okay? And यहाँ पे the way Krishna says Martyalokam Vishanti is the word used here. Vishanti meaning they fall down. Okay, fall down. मतलब क्या होता है कि you are on the heavenly planet now and कोई एक बंदा है वो काउंट कर रहा है तुम्हारा पायस क्रेडिट्स कैसा कम 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 होते जा रहा है. जब 0 पे आ जाएगा तो लात मार के भगा देगा and then we will fall down on this planet. So this is the way we are kicked out of the heavenly planet. Hare Krishna. Was this okay? Did you understand it well? कुछ है doubt? Any question? Any question?
Yeah. You, uh, थोड़ा little bit थोड़ा awkward question है प्रभु. What is the source of desire? Like we are part and parcel of God, right? So the desire कहाँ से आता है प्रभु?
एकदम समरीली एक्सप्लेन करता हूं मैं प्रभु, बिकॉज दिस क्वेश्चन हैज बीन आस्क्ड बाय अर्जुन इन द 3rd चैप्टर. ओके, तो मैं वो बाद में देखता हूं इसको. काम एष क्रोध एष रजोगुण समुद्भवः. In the verse number 37, it is lust, that is vasna, which is born of contact with the material mode of passion. So ये 3 गुण होते हैं ना, सत्वगुण, रजोगुण, तमोगुण. उसमें से जो रजोगुण होता है, that is the one which creates the desires among us. Okay, तमोगुण तो उससे भी घटिया होता है. तमोगुण तो मतलब डिजायर तो होती है, बट तमोगुण influence you, forces you to perform sinful activities to obtain that or fulfill that desire. Rajogun at least is better. It keeps you within the legitimate means at least. ऐसा.
Okay. So Prabhu, this means when we are in contact with material nature and 3 modes of nature, right? But there must be some time before we came here with in a form of a soul. So then desire came from where? Then we were not in touch of 3 modes of nature, right?
नहीं, बराबर. वो टाइम पे वो नहीं था, but we were having some sort of envy about Krishna. कि भाई, why is it that only you should enjoy? हमको भी enjoy करना है. And that is when the material world, including the material modes of nature and everything, was created. So envy was the cause of that at that point of time.
Okay.
That's a very deep topic, Prabhu. उसके ऊपर लोगों ने PhD भी की है. And books have been written about how did we fall down करके. बहुत deep है topic. This is a kind of a very brief explanation. हाँ. And आपने जो पूछा ना अभी, जिसका जवाब मैंने दिया रजोगुण, that is precisely what Krishna says in the immediate next verse, verse 45, which we will learn. कि भाई ये 3 modes of material nature है. Krishna says try to go away above these 3 modes of nature, which we will learn in the next verse. Next verse.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you so much. I hope this was Hare Krishna. I hope this was this you were able to understand it well. अगर कुछ doubt आता है तो we will take it up in the next class then.
It is very thought-provoking verses. Definitely, like you said.
Yes. It's not simple to digest this topic in one single session, but that is why we are going to learn Bhagavad Gita until the end of it. तब तक तो we would have accepted it fully.
Thank you so much, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Please,
Krishna.
please
Thank
come
you.
every week. Please join करो. Try your best. एक Tuesday का दिन आप free रखो अपने लिए कुछ करके. I'm guaranteeing you, you will thank Krishna for speaking Bhagavad Gita once you understand it fully. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Hare Krishna.
Thank
Hare Krishna.